I see you running away from something, and you're running fast, and you're not looking behind you. And I'm watching the road as you're running. I'm watching you run the road away. You're tearing up the road, running as fast as you can. I see that you started running one day, and now you can't stop. You can't stop running. And I don't know if you're running away from something or if you're running towards something. But I'm almost seeing you like on a treadmill where you run but you don't actually get anywhere. So even though that you cover all these miles, you still stay in one spot. You still stay in one spot. And only when you're running do you have the feeling that you've left or that you are getting closer to the place that you desire to get to. And I'm not sure whether what you're doing is, it's not is it avoidance? It's a feeling that you've got, right? And this feeling probably causes some anxiety. And so when you run, you don't feel the anxiety. So it's freedom from the anxiety. And that anxiety lies in your normal life. Whatever that anxiety is, it's a problem. But when you run, you're free of that anxiety. So you run. I'm seeing that sometimes you pause, or when you finish running and you sort of lean forward and put your hands just above your knees and you bend your back and you breathe. In these moments, I can see that that's when you realize, in that moment you realize that now you've stopped running and that anxiety is coming back. You realize in those moments that you've only escaped for a short time. But when you stop running, you come back down to earth, so to speak. And I don't know what it is that you're running from or where you want to get to. I think maybe you've outgrown certain things in your life, or you've outgrown maybe a version of who you are, but you don't feel like you can change because your surroundings don't change, because the people around you don't change. And so it's almost like if you change, that would cause a great panic, a great upset, because people wouldn't understand. They wouldn't understand why you were changing or why you would want to change, because maybe they don't change. Maybe they're afraid to change, but there's something inside of you that isn't afraid to change. And you're stuck between who you want to be, who you're almost desperate to be, but you're stuck between that and the life that you have and the place where you are and the people that you are with, whom you feel will not understand you. But it's not getting easier. I'm not saying that it will get any easier. It's almost like you have changed, and so you will never go back to who you were. I see you growing in an environment where nothing really grows. And at some point you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Because the change is going to take care of itself. It's going to be so obvious to people in time that the inevitable is going to happen. What you are trying to prevent will happen anyway, because you can't stop the process of changing and growing. And I feel like you're starting to believe that too. You're starting to see that nothing is going to reverse what is happening to you. But that's what fuels you when you run. That's what fuels you when you run. And I don't know whether you're kind of stuck between the past, a future that you can already foresee, and perhaps it doesn't really stimulate you, it doesn't really inspire you, and your present is already uncomfortable. You're probably keeping up appearances, and you're probably acting as normal, but you're probably actively conscious that you're wearing a mask now because you are so conscious of how you feel, but perhaps other people aren't, and you're having to maintain this version of yourself for other people. And this will very much feel like you're wearing a mask now every day, except for when you're running. And when you're running, no one's looking at you. You're constantly moving, so you don't have to pretend. And the pain goes away when you run. But as I said, I was seeing that you were growing in an environment where nothing grows, and you will stick out like a sore thumb, because I see you growing beyond the people, beyond the lifestyle, beyond wherever you live, beyond the town. And so what I see you as you are larger and everybody else is smaller. Or to put it another way, you are easily spotted in a crowd. Everybody else is kind of blending in, except you're kind of taking center stage, because you're taller, you have a bigger presence, you don't fit. And this is only going to get more obvious to people as time goes on, that you don't fit anymore. And people around you are probably going to feel a little insecure, because they will subconsciously realize that, but won't be able to articulate it, or they won't be able to see how they could bring it up. They won't even know what it is they are feeling to bring it up with you. They will just feel that something is wrong, something is off, something is not the same anymore, and they will panic, and they will feel insecure, but they won't know what to do, which is why they will end up feeling insecure. They will end up internalizing what's going on, and somehow they will blame you for you changing. That's worst case scenario. But it's hard to avoid. You've already changed. You've changed on on all levels, and you can never go back. You've already grown beyond who you were, and it's not on you because other people haven't. It's not your fault. It might feel like a burden, but it isn't your fault. You are not doing anything to anybody. You are not harming anybody. You are not malicious. You are not doing this. This is life. This is what happens. I see that you feel like you could do more. You could have done more. And maybe you feel like your life hasn't been large enough, hasn't been big enough, that you haven't seen and experienced enough in life. And that is a longing that you have in your heart. That is a pain that you feel, that you allow yourself to feel in the moments where you are alone and nobody is watching you. And so I see that somewhere deep down as a sadness, but I also see that you are a very upbeat person and you have a very high frequency, a high energy, bubbly even. But you know that you can be more. But in the environment that you are, where you are, that is all you can be. That is all people expect you to be. And that is what people want you to be. And so I feel your pain, I really do. I feel your pain. I come from a small town, and it's very much. Sometimes I don't really understand how I got out of it. I don't really understand how I took myself on to lead a completely different life, because it's so insular. Little places like that are so insular. It's almost like the greater world never gets there. It never gets there. It never gets into the awareness or the consciousness of people, and it always seems too far away. It always seems too big, and it's not the people's fault. It's just what happens. And in these towns where they were once havens for industry, like the town that I come from is a coal mining town, which lost its industry, and it lost everything else. It lost its purpose, its pride. It lost money. It lost employment, jobs. It just became a place of decline. And so in those places, as an example, it's very difficult to get out. It's very difficult to combat that imposed mindset that you have, that you get, that you receive just from living there, just from soaking up the energy. So I really do feel for you. I do see that the running is a sign of it's a sign of your resilience. It's a sign of your solution, a healthy solution. It's not a solution that you're not sacrificing your health. You're not drowning your problems in alcohol. You are not taking any substances. You're running. You want to feel it. You want to feel your escape. You want to feel the pavement, the dirt underneath your feet. You want to feel that you're moving somewhere. And that's what running does for you. It makes you feel free. It makes you feel free. I see that you're having a really hard time holding it, a really hard time. That there's so much beauty inside of you, and that beauty wants to touch other places. It wants to be seen in different ways. It can be more. It already is more inside of yourself, but you don't feel like you can let it all out where you are. And it's hard when we don't have people in our lives that understand us, or people who see all of those parts that we know are there, because we often need somebody to see them in order to have their permission so that we can actually change. What do we like for time? Okay, 10 minutes. I can see that water may help in a similar way. I don't know if you're somebody who walks along the river or goes to the beach and looks out at sea, but I see that that would also give you a sense of freedom to look out there. I similarly did the same thing. I actually managed to leave my small town, and first I moved to another town, then eventually city, and then eventually another country. But when I was in that other place, I lived right by the sea. And so when I used to come home from work every day, I used to take off my suit, and I used to get changed, and I used to go straight down onto the beach, and I used to walk along the beach, stroll along the beach, and I used to look out at sea. I look out to sea, and I used to wonder how I would get my passage across the ocean, and eventually I did. But that's been brought to my attention because I feel like either you do that now, or that is something else which will soothe your soul. It will, because I feel like if you don't do anything, and you've already realized this yourself when you started running, that you had to do something, right? Because it wasn't going to go away, and anything else seemed like it would cause lots of distress, and maybe trouble. You looked at it and thought and saw, this is only going to cause harm. It's only going to have a negative reaction if you expressed yourself too much. And so you started running, and in the same vein, similarly, if you look out across the sea, it will do the same thing for your soul, to look out and wonder and imagine a future where you can be free and you can do what you want to do, and you have a different life, right? Because I feel like that's the start. It's to not deny it. It's to let it out a little bit, let it explore, let you discover what it is and get used to that energy and integrate it. Because if you stuff it down, that's when it causes problems. That's when the anxiety gets bigger. That's when the anxiety grows. So if you don't do this already, take a walk along the beach by yourself if you can. And let that energy focus on something. Let it out and let it expand. Don't just keep it inside of you. Write. I'm seeing you writing with a pen. Write how you feel down somewhere private where no one can see. Keep it to yourself, but let it out. Don't hold on to it. I feel like this seems hard, right? and you don't know how to deal with it, but it's one of the big things in your life. It's one of your big life experiences is this transformation, is this change, and this period of growth. It's one of your biggest points in your life. So don't fear it. I feel like you're very much on course, and you're very much where you need to be, and it might not feel like that, because I feel like you're feeling like you've missed out in a big way, but you haven't, because you were meant to get to this point. You were meant to have these realizations. You were meant to realize these things, because then you know the true meaning of them, and they mean more, and you know how you feel in a way that you will never question yourself. So it's very much, the message is for you not to regret anything, not to have regrets, because every part of your life up until now has taught you something, has built who you are, and it has also got you to this point, this realization. And it's taken all of that for you to get to this point, to have this realization, so it couldn't have happened any other way. And you don't know the future, and that makes you nervous, and that makes you feel like the ground underneath you is unsteady, but you're also facilitating that by running. You want that ground to move, really, and running, you're doing it in it's subconscious, and it's in a way that doesn't actually change anything in your life, but it's a safe way of feeling what you feel without anybody really noticing it, and without it causing any problems in anybody's life. So I actually admire you for that, because you've chosen to not hurt anybody. That was your first reaction, was to spare other people's feelings. However, at some point, you will realize that you will make yourself sick if you do not make yourself happy, because only you can make yourself happy. Like all of us, we can only make ourselves happy. And if we're not happy, we can't really love other people. We can't really give other people what they want, or what they deserve even. The message is not to feel guilty. That's what I'm being drawn to tell you, to not feel guilt. Do not feel guilt. You are a human having an experience, living your life, and this is it. This is life. You are growing through your life. At times we all have to reevaluate. We change. We might want to stay the same forever, and even some of us, we promise each other that we will, but as you go through life, you know that you constantly change all of the time, and you never remain the same. Nothing's for certain, nothing's fixed. And that's the message. That is what this place that you're in right now in your life, it's what you need to do. This message, what it's for, is to make sure that you do not feel guilt. To make sure that you do not feel guilt. And because the first thing that we need to work on is you not feeling anxious. So don't feel guilty. That's what I'm being told to tell you. Do not feel guilty. It is not your fault. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And the reason why you feel burdened is because you are carrying the consequences that you think expressing yourself to the people closest to you in your life will make. You're worrying about the change and how it will negatively affect other people. That's why you feel the way you do, and why you feel heavy, because you're carrying other people's feelings, not just your own. It's not your own that is making you anxious. It's feeling for other people, and that's not your job. And that's the message. And my heart goes out to you. It really does. And I understand you more than you may think. So whoever this message is for, I hope that you can at least get to the point where you do not feel guilty, because you do not deserve to feel guilty.